Hi guys, this is Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about the WP steering stabilizer or steering damper, whichever you prefer to call it, for the new chassis KTM brand models. When I say KTM brand, I'm referring to all three of their brands. KTM, GasGas, Husqvarna. So this fits the 23 SX, XC, SXF, and XCF, and then the similar 23 Husqvarna models does not fit any of the 23 GasGas models. And then it also fits all the 24 KTM models, EXC, XCW, XC, XCF, SX, SXF, all the off-road models, the dirt bike models. And we'll have a fitment listing on our website that tells which models it fits. All right, and currently, so let me clarify first. So WP is the company that makes the forks and the shocks for KTMs, and they have for many, many years. And now they're making this, and they've made steering dampers in the past, but this one is made specifically for the new style chassis. Because we brought these in because no other steering damper stabilizer company has a damper kit for this new style chassis. They're all really struggling with the mounting tower. Scott's has one with a weld on. I don't know about you, but I really don't care to weld on my new bike and damage the paint and all that. But anyhow, so basically there's no bolt-on steering stabilizer kits available for these new bikes. And we'll put a listing on our website of all the different models it fits. But we brought these in, I don't know, just a week or two ago, and I'm surprised how many we've sold already. It's been a popular item, and it's a cute little thing. So just to give you an idea of the size of it, it's small. I've got big hands, but it's a small little item. And it's got a damper adjustment right here. Beyond that, I don't know much about it because I've never had one apart. I assume it is gas charged. It appears to be because it extends the shaft by itself. And I'm guessing it's an emulsion type system where the oil and gas are together, but I don't really know that for a fact. It doesn't really matter. All right, so let's talk about what it does first, what it has the potential of doing. And, just kind of take some of the we'll call them the oh shit moments away from when you're trail riding. It just makes the bike a little more stable, especially the front end of the bike. It just kind of calms things down. And for you guys who've used steering dampers in the past, you know what I'm talking about. So what I like about this is it mounts on the front of the frame. So it mounts right there on the frame. And there's nothing up on the handlebars, so it does not change the handlebar height. Does not create any type of handlebar mounting issues or mounting accessories on type issues. It's completely out of the way, tucked behind the number plate. And I don't know if it will fit the W models yet. If the headlight's on them. I know it will fit without the headlight, with just if you put a number plate on there, but I'll figure it out if it's going to fit with the headlight on there. I'll probably do a little addendum to this video. All right, so what comes in the kit is a damper, this bracket here, a couple of these big bolts, and then the bracket mount. The stabilizer mount, excuse me. And all you need for tools are just a few things. You need a pair of side cutters to cut zip ties. You need that 6mm socket to remove the front number plate. You need this T40 Torx right here to install these bolts, this one and this one. And then you need a 8mm T-handle or a socket and a ratchet, however you want to do that. And a zip tie. And you also need probably a flat blade screwdriver because you've got to pop out this little plastic block-off plate. Back this up to where maybe it focuses better. All right, so this plate covers this hole right here. and there's a plate on the other side as well that covers that hole. Some models might have this plate with a vent tube sticking out of it for your fuel line overflow, or vent tube, excuse me. And that hole is where the bracket goes in. Okay, back down here, I'm going to remove, grab that. I'm doing this all by myself with one hand on the camera and one hand to function with. But I don't think that's going to work for this. So I think I'm going to have to stop and put the camera on a tripod so I can kind of show you better how to do this. Stay tuned. Hold on just a second. Okay, guys. The first thing you have to do actually is to remove the number plate. And then you have to remove this plastic plate here that holds the wiring harness and the hour meter. And it's just held on, it sits right here, it's held on with two bolts that take an 8mm T-handle to remove. The number plate comes off with a 6mm socket right here. And then just set this to the side for now. And first thing you have to do is install the frame bracket. And so when you first see this frame bracket, you kind of think, well, wait a minute, where does this thing go? It must go on here, whatever. But those two plastic plates that I pulled out, back here is where this arm goes in. So you just push it through the frame there. Yeah, I think you do. There you go. And then it sticks through the other side over here. You take the bolt that came with it. I added this washer. The washer didn't come with the kit. I just kind of think it needs a washer there. So I'm just going to snug this. I'm not going to really tighten it down or torque it yet. So it's still a little bit loose. Okay, so that feels good, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it. And it wouldn't hurt to put a little thread locker on there. This is not an item you'd want to come loose. If it did, it would lock up the steering and your installation would cause a big problem. So put a little thread locker on there. After that, you need to remove the two fender bolts here, because that's where the unit bolts into, and it comes with two bolts for that. So one big, these torque bolts goes right here, through here. The other one comes through, it's basically the back side of this bracket, because this bracket fits like this. So you have to run that bolt through there first and put it on, so it fits on the shouldered side. And I'm going to install these two fender bolts first. These ones that come with the kit, they're just a few millimeters longer than the stock ones. The stock ones will not work. I'm just snugging those for now. Okay, so now you can see that this doesn't line up with that, so you got to push down on it. This should have thread locker put on it. And push this down till the hole lines up. Stick the bolt in. Tighten her up. It's a T40 Torx. All right, so I'm going to come back afterwards and tighten these correctly. They're just snugged up for now. And just make sure that everything moves freely, that this bolt back here is not rubbing on the frame. And anything like that. You just want to make sure that it all feels good. Okay, from there you need to put this mounting plate back on here. And bolts for that. Just reuse the ones that came with. You can go ahead and tighten these if you want. You know, all these you need to make sure they're tight. And there needs to be thread locker on this top damper bolt and the bottom damper bolt, and I would put thread locker on these two bolts as well. I prefer to use red on all those applications. Nope, I forgot to put this up in here. So let's redo that real quick. This is just the hour meter. Also, it throws error codes if there's a problem. Okay, so basically it's on. All right, so a couple of things I did to make it fit better, and something I'm going to recommend here also, because I haven't done it yet, is this wiring loom, which is a pretty beefy loom. It was actually sitting right here, and it was laying across the steering damper there, and when you came full lock to the right, it pulled on that wiring loom and made it hard to push the bars full to the right. Not hard, but you could feel the resistance. That's not good on the loom, and also it's not an effective way to have the thing set up. So it was held on with 2 zip ties. I cut those off. I moved it up here. Obviously, I'm going to trim this off. And I just moved it up, so now it's got plenty of clearance. And actually, it could probably even go up a little bit more. I think I'm going to drill a little hole right here so I can run a zip tie and hold it up even higher. I'll have to mess with that, and you can do your own little thing at home on that. Also, I think, what I also recommend here is that you try to bend this thing out some. I would just bend it up some and hold it there for a minute. And try to keep it from rubbing on the steering damper. Might also want to just take and trim this off. A pair of sheet metal shears or whatever. A box cutter, you can cut this off and clean that up a little bit. And then put the number plate back on, and wham bam, it's done. It's a very quick installation. If you've ever installed any other dampers, you understand that all the other ones on the market are a real pain to install, because you got to remove the top triple clamp and slide a bracket over the frame. As you can see, this one's very quick and easy to install. It's a really slick little unit. Looks totally badass. It's a nice, well-machined, well-designed part. Like I mentioned before, it's been a hot seller so far. One of the guys in the store, Rick, who's our AA guy, he's got one and loves it. Rick Emerson, 6 Days rider. He's had his bike just shipped a couple days ago to the 6 days actually. But guys, that's really all there is to it. And you can see that, you know, because of the way it mounts, it's just all here. There's nothing to do with the handlebar position or removing the triple clamp or anything like that. It's very easy to install. It's very easy to deal with. It doesn't interfere with anything else on your bike. I am going to see if I can fit this onto my XCW model because my XCW has a headlight on it. I'm not sure there's enough clearance back there. I'm going to find out here in a minute. Guys, before I move over to the XCW to see if it will fit on that, I wanted to go over a couple of little things. One is these plastic frame plugs. You know, there's one right there and then one on the other side of the frame. You can see how they're built. If I can get it in my hand here. I'm sorry, I've got nerve damage in this hand and it's hard to hold on to things. You can see it's just got those little tabs there. And you can push in there with a flat blade screwdriver and get it to come loose, or you can just pry it out of there and break it. if you want. They're only a few cents if you decide you want to replace it later. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you was how you can adjust it after it's already installed. Well, you can see right here. Let me back up a little bit. So this being the back side of the fork leg, you can just reach right in here. Even with the number plate installed, you can just get in here and turn this knob to stiffen or soften it. Add more dampening or less damping. All right, now I'm going to move on to the XCW to see if it fits that. Okay, I pulled the headlight off my XCW. And then I put it back in there. And unfortunately, this part of the headlight gets in the way of the string dampener. There's not enough clearance back there for the headlight and the damper to fit in there. It would be way too tight of a squeeze. It just won't fit. So if you want to run that dampener on a XCW or EXC model, you would have to switch to a number plate. Or some guys even take these headlight housings out and put a black plastic plate in the front to replace the headlight. I've seen guys do that. That would work as well, but with the stock headlight, it's a no-go. All right, guys, if you would, please like us on Instagram and Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Please stop by the store anytime you're anywhere near Colorado. We've got a beautiful showroom, great guys that are glad to help you out, and I hope to see you out on the trail soon. That's all for now.